Good evening and welcome to Têkkel Thursday. We are back and we have smiles on our faces. Good evening, LB.
Hy
Good to
nie?
have you back.
Yes, how's it man?
Like 'n bietjie anders by kant, né?
Ja, nee, sien lekker bietjie anders jou kant. Watter kant is jy?
Lekker hier in Montetjie.
Lekker.
Ja,
Lekker. Shout out
definitief
to die mense moet ek.
Ja, nee, is nie vir plesier nie, definitief 'n bietjie werk. Maar kudos is so aan die mense, hulle het my lekker opgeset.
Nice.
10 o'clock load shedding, maar ons het gou
Okay.
vinnige plan gemaak dat ons vir Têkkel kan uitsaai en soos julle kan sien lyk 'n bietjie anders, maar same topics.
Ja. Lekker. Nee, my kant kyk ek sit nou in die middel van load shedding op die oomblik. So
Yeah.
that's not going to stop us. So yeah, we don't know how the rest of SA is doing now and the rest of our usual viewers that tunes in, but welcome nonetheless to another Têkkel Thursday. Yeah,
No, for sure.
been a good week. Springboks are off to a fantastic start. Obviously with that good win over the Scots. I mean, it was kind of to expect it, but I mean, nonetheless, it is a good win for the Boks.
Yeah, no, for sure. I expected a little bit more resistance from the Scottish side, but in the end, not a perfect performance by the Springboks, but very, very dominant. I think they started well. Here and there, you thought perhaps we could have won this game a little bit easier by the margin of only 15 points, but still very important fixture in the pool. Important for us to get off to winning ways. And now it's all down to which I believe Scotland Island and then the Springboks Island. I don't foresee the other two teams, being in contention to either finishing in that playoff positions. But all credit to Romania and Tonga. But I think it will come down to those three teams at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we're in a very fortunate position because, the Irish being, the number one side in the world at the moment, they'll have to face the Springboks, and also their last game being a very spirited Scots. I think the winner of that game would definitely be going through to the final. Sorry, not final, quarterfinal. But I think that's gonna be it's gonna be a big game for them, and them going into the quarterfinals would give that person that edge, just going with some confidence into that quarterfinal. But yeah, great win with the Boks. I think soos jy nou gesê het, daar was tye waar jy gedink het as die Bokke kan wegtrek. There was one or two touches that wasn't really there. There was one or two obviously goal kicking is another subject. But like Siya Kolisi, I mean, hats off to Siya. Yes, hy het 'n goeie verduideliking gegee. Die een van die Franse journalists hom gevra het, what do you think of Mani's kick? And he was like, we work as a team. One guy comes off, another one comes on, and on the day it worked. With Faf kicking that, slotting one right from the touchline, an easier one. He didn't get over after that, but nonetheless, like Sia said, there's always somebody to take over if need be. Maar Mani's a class, I mean, we've spoken about it last week. That no-look kick. There's a lot being said about that no-look kick. Hy man net uit klas wat uit hom oes, soos hulle sê, man.
Yeah, I think we need to get to a point as a Springbok side where you budget for fly-offs like that. That's going to have the odd mistake, especially a fly-off that instinctively kick a cross kick. It could have been millimeters too long and the ball goes over the touchline. But you need to encourage plays like that, and that is what Mani brings. And I think in the past, we as fans, as media, we were a bit impatient with players. Mani will miss kicks. I mean, I said last week, but then moments after that, he does something absolutely brilliant that no one of the opposition expects. And those are the moments that turns the game on its head. It would have been ideal if this Springbok side with Libbok in the form that he is, perhaps had a recognized place kicker in any of the other positions. Maybe a fullback that can kick at poles, maybe a Ramos a Ramos for us. That just takes the pressure off Mane. But now we are in the position that we need to allow for Mane to perhaps give away 6 points to gain 10, to gain 12. He's got it in him. I want to say something maybe
Controversial.
controversial. I've been watching Mane play for the URC. It is clear to me that someone is tampering with Mane's goal kicking process. I think Mane is getting extra coaching. It's not ideal for a player of his natural instincts. I'll tell you why. We've seen many players like that. If you look at Mane, he's thinking about things that he should not be thinking over that ball.
Yeah.
Hy wys sy skouer errands, hy kykie. Mane, I haven't seen that from Mane. He places the ball, he looks once, twice, he gets up, he strikes the ball. We've seen that many times from Mane. I can see by watching him that he is thinking more about the process, and when he needs to strike the ball, he's not even striking it. He's kicking way off the target. And I suspect there's someone in the squad working on Mane's technique. All of a sudden, he's thinking about the technique, and he kicked the ball in split seconds, dead center into Curtly Arons's lap. That is instinctive. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing this guy thinking about a very straightforward kick. Maybe people would say it's important for guys to coach. There's something in his technique I didn't see for the Stormers. I'm just giving my observation.
No, point. And with that said, I mean, you raise a very valid point. I mean, him being an instinctive kicker, sorry. At the same time, you want to make sure that those 3 points are slotted when it counts, man. I mean, that's also vital. But I've looked over, and SuperSport showed it the other way. Sway's the Brain was showing the angle as to which Mane was kicking, and for some, it seemed like his angle was almost adjusted for the game against the All Blacks, and he was slotting it over. He almost took a wider stance, I think a step or maybe 2 steps further. This time around, looking at his kick, and for those that noted that, it almost seemed like his angle was a bit more cute. It wasn't as wide as he took it. And so say, before he would either just get it off or on, but he's kicking the kicks that he should normally get over, he doesn't get over. And soos jy nou sê, is wyd, is nie noodwendig, 'n meter weg van die paal af, hy is taamlik ver van die paal af. So daar is 'n bietjie tampering, en ons weet nou nie wat dit is nie. It's natuurlik whoever's working on him is trying to get him better, and I think it's a rhythm thing, obviously, that he needs to get into. Anyway, with that said, and we had a lot to say about the big news coming out today, and Richard Erasmus, who's it, Richard? Welcome to the show. Highlighted that is Malcom Marx out of the World Cup. Surely that is a massive blow. I mean, Malcom Marx probably is the Springboks, arguably the best player, I think, and most important player in a pack as strong as the Springboks have right now.
Yeah, no, the big blow, massive blow, huge relief for many of the opposition. Whether Malcom starts the game or whether he comes from the bench, he is really pivotal to what the Springboks have in their arsenal. We've seen him start games really, really fast, carrying a lot of balls, playing towards the ground. I think is almost like a fetcher. If he comes on, he's got that role that he really can, roam around and become a second number 6, playing towards the ball. And if Bongi starts and Malcom gets onto the field, we know what we're going to get: 25 minutes of sheer power, brute force, and meters gained. And with that, we're giving away not only a leader in the squad, not only a feared player by opposition, but I think in tandem with Bongi, they made up a massive combination.
Formidable.
Perhaps the 2 best hookers in tandem. Whether Bongi starts or Malcom from the bench, whether Malcom starts or Bongi from the bench, this is a massive blow for the Springboks.
Absolutely.
Interesting. It will be interesting to see. There are rumors. It will be Dweba coming across. They could maybe throw a spanner in the works and pull in a backline player. But this is a big blow and huge relief for the opposition.
No, massive. Ashraf Suleiman, welkom. Hy sê Dion sal Mark se werk kom doen vir ons boys. Point. I mean, we know what Dion can bring. Dion is that exceptional. I mean, he's been really at I think he's age 36, if I'm not mistaken. He's playing brilliant rugby throughout the URC. Yes, be it international level, it's a different situation. Your time on that ball is so much less. Making a jump to test level, but surely, I mean, a guy like Dion Fourie would definitely be able to fit that mold as a feature. Might not be as strong a player as Marx is, but definitely he can definitely stand his man, and I for sure think he would definitely be able to stand. At least get the starting berth or just under for that team.
Yeah, no, it's a great player to have in the squad, and I don't believe that the coaching staff perhaps only selected him to fulfill one position or the other.
Yeah.
I think when it came to rolling the dice, especially with Dion Fourie's selection, this would have been one of the things that gone through the mind of the selectors that Dion can play either or.
Yeah,
he can come on as a hooker, and perhaps this was that role that gave him the nod above some of the other players. Yes, it comes with a lot of responsibility now. So Ashraf saying, perhaps we should not bring another hooker. Dion can play there. That remains to be seen. The other play.
Ons genoeg skrambies wat kan inklim.
Ja,
as 'n ekstra speler.
Ek vermoed dit gaan Dweba wees wat as Malcom ek hoor dit gesê possible and then now later in the evening it seems to be a done deal that someone has assessed Malcom Marx, and it seems to be that he will not recover in the next 4 to 5 weeks, which means that he will not be involved in any of the games, even if the Springboks goes on to play up until the final. I suspect that Dweba would have had a phone call earlier today to say pak jou sakkies en kom Frankryk toe. Ek sal baie verras wees as hulle 'n ander roete volg. Daar is gerugte dat dit miskien Andre Pollard is. Hy
man sit op 'n police call. Hy wag letterlik. Kom ons sê goeienaand Patricia. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. En Heinrich Donus, Heinrich se naam last week was hy mos Cat's Eyes, né? Of Cat's Whiskers. Ek weet nou nie hoe sy naam gewees het last weekie. Maar Heinrich, welkom weer. Zilo. Marco Esco van Starum. Interesting, as we spotted practicing liner throws, maybe no Dweba. Is that confirmed? If you have some link, please send it to us. We'd love to see that. That's interessant. Malcom Starum. Het al ooit hakker gespeel?
Ek dink hy het hakker gespeel, maar hy definitief die stokkie. Jy sê met hierdie Springbokspan en die diversiteit in hierdie Springbokspan gaan ek niks verby Ninaber en Key City. Hulle het baie gedink oor die ding. Ek het gesê, wat maak hulle met 4 scrum-halves? Hulle speel sommer al 4 scrum-halves hierdie komende Sondag in een squad. So, you can't put anything past these guys. So they've thought about it. They perhaps they're going to go with Dion Fourie. Play Bongi, Dion Fourie en Marco. If push comes to shove, dan het jy hom 'n bietjie gooi in om die lyn staan. Daar is 'n reël wat sê die hakker moet die bal in die lyn staan gooi nie. So as ons 7-1 kan gaan, wie weet wat hierdie coaching staff nog in die mou kan voer. So maar ek gaan steeds baie verras wees as dit nie gaan Dweba wees wat oorkom nie. Die jury is uit oor Dweba se ingooi.
Ja, taking a step up. That'll be interesting.
I can't recall. I do believe daar was so 'n lang kort lys of 'n waglys. Dweba was op daai lys, as ek nie mistaken is.
Yes, you're right. He was on that list.
It was Andre Pollard, it was Likanyo Am.
Maar ek dink so.
Ek dink Dweba se naam was op daai lys. So sê dit vir ons maar dat ek dink
look, I won't be surprised if Andre gets a nod. I mean, especially in the goalkeeping department, but to bring a player in, I think the Boks, have been playing now. They've been together for a couple of weeks now. Andre's been out of that system. I almost feel Andre needs game time. Andre needs to play, quite a few games before we can even get into a scenario of a quarter final, for example. And with Andre in that squad, it throws everything around. I think they've really now, worked out that Mane is the man they're going to be taking through. So to your point, I doubt that there will be a backline player. Maybe they'll surprise, but Joseph Dweber would definitely fill the role. I mean, op 'n einde van die dag, our game is based on that forward pack. And I need just looking towards this weekend coming. Obviously, we've got a team that obviously is very, I won't say makeshift, but it's very different from the usual starters. There's some very interesting choices, especially on number 14, Grant Williams, who plays as wing. I mean, this man got the pace. I mean, we've seen it now in last week's game. Hy pace om defenses aan skerwe te lê, man. Any other surprises for you for this game against Romania?
I wouldn't say surprises, but interesting to see that Kobus Reinach starts ahead of Jaden Hendrikse. That for me is I would have thought if Faf pulls up with something, that Grant Williams and Kobus Reinach would be the two that comes off the bench, with Faf and Jaden being the guys who start at number 9. So that is an interesting call. I don't know what to read into it, whether it can be that Kobus is perhaps in the mind of the coaches the second choice starting number 9, which is surprising. I believe Jaden Hendrikse is a bit more complete in terms of his kicking game. So that for me is a huge surprise. We know that Jaden Hendrikse is hungry and he is deprived of some match time. I would have thought that he would start against Romania. I would now be very surprised if he doesn't play against Tonga as a starting number 9. So that for me. Also nice to see the other guys like Marvin Ori, Jean Klein getting a run. This might be one of the few times that they can get a run. But I want to just foster your eye on number 10, Damian Willemse. I've said last week this might be the guy to really mix it up for the Springboks. He's now starting at number 10. We know he can play at 12. He started last week at number 15, and when he is selected on the bench, he just brings something different in my mind, and that latches on to your comment about Pollard. Mane is not making it very difficult for Pollard to be in the conversation. I guarantee if Mane was kicking all guns blazing, we would have perhaps had more confidence in saying, right, Damian Willemse is he as iets met Mane gebeur, but obviously he's missing some of those kicks. So the question would be, if it is Andre Pollard, it would make no sense for Andre to be on the bench if he is flown over because there's a worry on place kicks. So he would probably then either play at number 12 or number 10. That leaves me with the question of Damian Willemse. Is he our starting number 15, or will he be the pivot in the 6-2 split on the bench in the playoff games? They are mixing it up with him to give him exposure in all positions. But, I remained a bit puzzled about where exactly is Damian Willemse going to play, or is he the joker in the pack of cards?
Ja, nou, en I think, ons al voorheen daaroor gepraat oor die feit dat hy, ek wil amper sê gemors word, man, he's what a talented player Damon is, and being able to play in all areas. Yes, he had he didn't have a great game against the All Blacks at Mount Smart. However, we know what quality he has, but he needs the game time, he needs the assurance, and he needs to be put into positions like this. You are our number 12, you are our number 15. And like you said, if you are a joker off the bench, then by all means, I think we can cement you in that position. But again, I think looking at Rassie and let's not take too much away from the fact that hulle is geslapen, they strategists, and if they are playing to the eventuality that maybe this was them saying that they're not going to be showing. They're not going to be giving Andre a chance at this World Cup, and they're going to be backing Mane and possibly Damian as a backup for that position going into the World Cup, going into the latter rounds of the World Cup. So yes, and I think their choice of player that will be coming up might just show that as well. But yeah, guys, I mean, please let us know your thoughts. I mean, we've got a very interesting conversation also going to be. Around the All Blacks we'll be bringing up in a second. So let us know, join in the conversation, let us know your thoughts. I think it's interesting. Die Wêreldbeker is hier en dit maak jou net lus vir rugby. Ek kan nie wag, is dit môre vanaand die volgende game?
Frankryk en Uruguay op 9 uur vanaand. So
yes. Ja,
die tuisspan in aksie sien. Ja, ek dink die tuisspan soos ons laasweek gesê het en hoe verkeerd was ons die laasweek nie. Waar ons gedink het die All Blacks gaan werklik waar die Franse op hulle tuisbodem pak gee. Ons was verkeerd en ons moet definitief ons woorde sluk. We need to go back and say well done and in some sense Alberic beaten convincingly. In the end, the last 3 maak nou die telling 'n bietjie groter, but if you watch the game, the French were very determined, very purposeful, and they really deserved to win that game. No doubt about it.
And that is why we asked tonight, guys, has the All Blacks lost their edge? I mean, it was a big statement to, for a few, it was on social media this week that, with the All Blacks losing in the game against pretty convincingly, albeit with 14 men on the field against the Springboks, not looking as sharp. There were glimpses in that French game that looked like it, but I think the All Blacks almost has this. If you can almost, contain them in the first 20 minutes and the first 10 minutes after halftime, you would almost be able to get them on the back foot. If you can, get them, and that's what the Boks did on Twickenham, is to make sure that they are dominant from the kickoff. So yeah, it's an interesting statement. I mean, there was a few people that spoke about that. As All Blacks lost the edge. And yeah, from our side, I think, my side at least, I don't think we can ever discount the All Blacks. I think they're a team that will always be. Hoeveel keer ons al gedink, ons kom van Nelspruit af, always lekker gewen, gaan Ellis Park toe, en kry ons gaan ons maar sterk tussen die bene huis toe. Maar the All Blacks cannot be discredited, nie.
No. I don't believe it. What I can say is, I have said this. I think Foster is a very, very, very poor selector of his team.
You mentioned it before.
Wrong. He gets it. I cannot believe, you look at the team that he's selecting, and you're thinking, right, this guy perhaps he knows something more about rugby than the average guy, but he puts in a team against France immediately. I looked at that side and I thought, what is he doing? Perhaps playing Anton Leonard-Brown coming in. If he would have played, if he wanted to play Anton Leonard-Brown, you would have thought, okay, Jordy Barrett and Avili is injured now. You bring in Anton Leonard-Brown, who's just come back recently from an injury. Damian McKenzie's in the broader group is not being utilized effectively. He brings on, the replacement scrum half very, very late when it seems that they need to chase the game. And for me, everything starts for the All Blacks. It starts with team selection. He's really confused whether Sam Cane, Papali'i, Shannon Frizzell, he's not sure. Adi Sevilla, good number 8,
always hopping,
filling a gap there. So I don't know. They are very vulnerable. We know what they can do, but they are very vulnerable, and they are not as feared a side as they used to be. And I think their trouble starts at playmaking, where Richie Mohanga is struggling to find a partner at number 12. After Ma and Nonu, they tried Ryan Crotty, who did well. Laumapi played there. They played the Jordy Barrett there. They're missing it. They're missing the point. And it really, interesting enough as well, we know how good the wing that scored the opening try, I forgot his name now. Anyway, Talia, he's very good in the air. For some other reason, they continue to kick the aerial game onto Will Jordan's side. And he was very lucky to not get the second yellow card in that match, where he just stormed in and took out the French winger. Where I believe if they kick, every time they kick to Talia's side, they seem to be competing much better. So, incomplete, I really think the All Blacks are mentally, they are in big trouble. They will still be there on talent, but mentally they're not there.
No, 100%, and that echoes some of the comments, and I'll rush through. Guys, if you do hear a bit of background noise on my side, my ligte en my load shedding aangegaan. So net so die familie maak nou kos, so jy sal kos gelede
It's fine.
kos maak gelede hoor in die background, maar that's how we roll. Just with that said, Aine, and you bring up a few points, and it's obviously got one or two people just bring up some very interesting points to raise, which is, for example, Richard Ashman saying, do you guys think Bowden Barrett at 10 will help the All Blacks? To your point, you're having the the likes of a Crotty or a Smith not there, or sorry, Nonu not there, to be that anchor in that 12th berth. It's always a tricky one if you don't have that strength. And Jordy being has the flashiness, it just hasn't been that support that Mo'unga needs.
Yeah, no, I think if you want to play Bowden Barrett at number 10, then you might as well consider moving Richie Mo'unga to number 12. But I think I think that might be a better match. But the absence now is this: the All Blacks struggle to get over the gain line if the forwards, so they carry 1, 2, 3 phases. The ball gets to Richie Mo'unga. He almost runs out of options and then he tries the cross kick. So there's no basher running in the narrow channel, hitting it up at number 12. They're not running direct and punching holes into the opposition. So when there's nothing on, they almost plays a around the back situation. And you see opposition say, listen, we're not going to tackle you. Let's just shove the cross. Yeah. And when there's nothing on, they try and kick in the corner. And if you have good fielders in the opposition, they certainly go. And France fielded very well. Yeah, Ramos and the wingers, they did very well in the air. So they need someone very 100%. Direct at number 12, just hitting it up. A Damien Delendi, Andre Esterhuizen type of 12, bashing it up at number 12, and hence they are very predictable. If they go wide, it's wide, and then they hope that Rico Ioane can razzle dazzle, and it doesn't always happen. I think Bowden Barrett is the second choice number 10 at present. Yeah. And they should not try to play him at fullback. They should explore other positions. Yeah. He can bring something as a sub.
I agree. I think, just the Richie Mo'unga, I think he's pure class. I think Richie Mo'unga is pure class, and I really, really think he's really probably one of the most all-round players, I think. But just that support that you would need on the outside is like you mentioned, is vital for him. But a guy like Bowden almost has that bit of X factor, I think, getting it on first receiver and being able to, whether he's, I almost feel like Bowden does have a bit of more time, and he's got incredible pace, and being able to sum up. I almost think that would probably be for me in this situation, if they had to now choose into the World Cup game, I'd probably go with a Bowden at 10 rather instead of a Richie, because we've been there. But I think just going down, quite a few comments coming through, guys.
Good to have them.
Fantastic, I love it. Heinrich, poor coach, we captain. That's been the talk of the town. I mean, not only a poor weak captain, but yes, the man is injury prone. I mean, Sam Cane is 1 week, he plays 2 games, and then he's off for a few weeks again, and then he's on again. It's just a lot of the same for him, and it's something that
I think this is a product. Yeah, product of we normally say decisions that you make now will echo in the future, and I think what they're sitting now with Sam Cane is perhaps a product of a poor announcement of a captain in the first place many years ago. I think 3-4 years ago, we thought we were all surprised. I think Sam Cane were, I think before his neck injury, was he really the number 1 in his position? And we've seen over the years, you don't necessarily have to be a number 1, but even their media were very, very surprised when he was named as captain. So
very good point.
Namibia, wat ook nou.
All Black fans, nee, ek dink nie so nie, man. Ek is baie lief vir Namibia, guys. Ek het familie daar en hulle kyk baie graag so. Hallo. Maar Namibia, as jy hulle in kan deursit, jy sê ek gaan 'n groot fan.
Maar ons moet krediet gee aan Namibia vir die eerste helfte teen Italië. Lekker gespeel, hè? Lekker. Ek kon sien ek kon nou van die ouens die dagwerke het nie, want ek kon sien, ek het gedink, jong, gaan die ouens is die pros teen amateurs,
Ja,
want ek
daar's
kon
'n
sien gaan die petrol hou, ek was bietjie bekommerd.
Ja,
Ek was bietjie
ja.
bekommerd dat 'n prop opgekom, toe check ek, jy weet, as 2-3 carries toe begin hy te blaas, en toe wonder ek, jy weet, is die manne fiks genoeg? En iewers skielik het die telling 'n bietjie weggehaal toe, maar Namibië kan hulle kop hoog hou. Dit is die slegte Italiaanse span nie, hulle het lekker gespeel, lekker rugby.
Brilliant play. And I think also just with that said, I think that it was the wing. He did, he had an intercept. He was one that scored, I think, the first try of the Namibians. So really great to see. And just their lineup. I mean, you have Alistair Coetzee as well, ex-Bok coach, and definitely showing what he can bring to the party. I mean, they look quite impressive in that first half. And there's a few teams we'll talk about again. The Chilis, the Fijians, fantastic. Wow, really awesome to see them coming back. God Fransman would say Kiwis will come back strong. First game had too much kicking, not the usual style. 100%. I've never seen a team like the All Blacks. I've never seen an All Black team kick as much as they did. And secondly, even in the last 10 minutes of the game, even last, I think it was about the 77th minute, and you saw Bowden kicking, and I was like, but was Kenneally nie so nie? What happened? Are they losing their not necessarily identity, but are they losing the true essence of what makes them so strong? Or is it just a fact of, we don't have a pack of forwards to compete?
Yeah, no, I think a lot of the balls that Barrett fielded, you could see he's not a natural fullback catching the ball and running it back. As die Damian McKenzie was, as die a Will Jordan was, as die a Havili was, because the only guy that I think really kicked well out of hand was Dupont. Long box kicks. Zelibe and Ramos, there was a few kicks where Bowden fielded it right out of the air. And then he decided to kick it back. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable because the traditional All Black side, they catch those balls, they start running at you, and they score counter-attacking tries. We've seen Mills Muliaina, Christian Cullen over the years, and that should remain in the DNA of an All Black side. If you kick poorly against them, you need to pay the price. And a guy like Damian McKenzie, really, I thought to myself, as hy blonde koppie op daai veld was en hy het van hy bolle gespeel. Absoluut.
Hy is gevaarlik.
Sou hy die bal teruggehad het.
Yeah, Gilbert coming through saying Damian McKenzie and Cam Roygard was the best 10 en 9 informed players in Super Rugby. Foster se ere is klaar manne. Hopelijk sal die All Blacks weer iets beteken as Scott Robertson oorvat. Good point. I mean, a lot of the All Blacks, die need social media supporters, especially New Zealand, saying, you know what, we can't wait for Scotty to come into the fold and actually make a difference. I think that's it's been like they were actually hoping it to happen a year ago probably. Foster had a very, very good win against the Boks and Ellis Park, almost a career-saving win because everybody expected him to be, down and out. But he came back and won. But yes, with that said, everybody waiting for Scott Robertson to join.
And I think Gala is referring to Damian McKenzie, and he had a very, very, very good let's call it the Super Rugby campaign for the lack of the tournament's name now. But I think Test Rugby is very narrow. I like this Damian McKenzie because he brings something different. But I've watched him, but to be in that Channel 1, manning up against Dwayne Vermeulen, manning up against Vinnie Paula. Hy kry baie traffic daar werk en ek het al gesien jy weet hy gee 'n bietjie weg. So perhaps it's asking too much. Yes, in the loser games against Fiji, but having to play against the Australians, against South Africa, specifically against England, where they really come hard in that channel. Ek weet nie of Damian McKenzie vir 80 minute daar gaan staan nie. Yes, for the Chiefs. Maybe dit raak tyd daarso. So ek dink bietjie op fullback as hy moet staan, but if you have him on the bench, if they had him on the bench against the French, chasing a game being 12 points down, 10 points down, bring hom op.
Yeah, what do you have to lose?
En laat hy gee hom vrye teels. Hy is twinkle toes, hy kan regtig waar 'n game op sy kop draai. So ja, ek dink ons gaan meer van hom
and to say that, and to say as well, guys, I mean, we're speaking about the All Blacks now. We love the All Blacks just as as any other rugby team outside of the Springboks, for myself at least. But we love the All Blacks on top level. We love the All Blacks showing their class. It just means so much when you, again, like that match that we played on Twickenham against them, beating an All Blacks at that score. Even yes, it was a warm-up match, and it was a massive, massive achievement. And for us to kind of, we want to see the All Blacks on that level again. And the All Blacks are strong, we strong as South Africans, and I think it's always good to have that. Looking forward even to next year's Rugby Championship. Laren Leng saying Ramos was outstanding in the fullback position for France, scoring 13 points with his boot and making several key tackles. What are your thoughts on his performance? Ramos really impressed us in that game, eh?
Absolute outstanding. I think I watched his complete play. I haven't followed the French side that closely, but I know that he's been in the squad, for some time. But I haven't seen a complete player in a very long time. That aerial, he just came in flying and fielding those balls like a kamikaze pilot, and it was perfect. Off the tee, I think he missed one important kick. He missed a very important kick, but came back again. He's complete
very
play.
Strongly, very strong as well.
An absolute brilliant rugby player, and that is what you want at test level. And he would have been absolutely great if we had a sharpshooter for the Springboks, relieving Mani from place kicking like Ramos. Remember, Jelly Bear is eintlik die ouetjie wat nou moes opgestop het in te makse plek om te sê gee my die bal. But mens kon sien die presse is van Jelly Bear af, want hy kon speel sonder om te dink oor hy 3 punte of die conversion. En Ramos, snaakse van, 'n Spaanse van, ek wonder of hy in die Spaanse familie
is. But and with that said, and with that said, there was moments where I thought that the French, I almost felt like they didn't even hit third gear, for example. I felt they were. I think both teams in the first half kind of just feeling each other out. I think there wasn't a killer blow that necessarily came through. Obviously, the French in the last latter half, they kind of put the score a bit further away. But I almost felt the French could have done better. I thought Dupont wasn't that great on the night. I thought, not great. Sorry, he's a great player. He was average. I think. I don't think he was on point. There was a few passes that were high and low. There was one or two of those, but his usual kind of sharpness wasn't there. I felt that in the game, and I think obviously it was the first game. First the teams were feeling each other out. It's a massive occasion, open game with the World Cup. But I still think the French team has something to show, even though it was in third gear against the All Blacks.
Yeah, no, for sure. Remember, I thought I was rooting for the French side. They went into halftime leading. I think it was with 1.98. And then the All Blacks scored immediately after halftime. They scored a very suspect try, but nonetheless, I thought that was it for the French. I thought, there we go. I think they've just squandered a great opportunity to beat the All Blacks in their home ground in a vital pool game. They've just lost the game right there and then. Not to be. They came back, they played brilliantly. And I think now, as it stands, we're heading to a collision course where the Boks might have to collide with the All Blacks in the quarterfinal as it stands.
I got that feeling it's going to happen, and
it's
going to be. I would, and I think for the sake of facing Ireland, not knowing where that's going to take us, I think if you had to choose between facing a very strong French side at home, I would face the All Blacks at this stage. Yes, the All Blacks have surprised us. It's the lesser of two evils, but it's the devil in the All Blacks. And that will definitely, I think, will probably be a better alternative than facing a French team that will be going all out, to show their worth. But again, just back to the All Blacks and what makes them tick. I think one of the viewers alluded to that is that. The game against the Boks that was played out. Actually, I just want to find the comment while I'm talking to you. The game against the Boks really kind of, it was actually Ashraf who said it, picked it up, Ashraf, had a massive loss of confidence with that warmer match. The Boks really dominated the All Blacks in more ways than one, and just the fact that they were at a point where it could have been, we were probably looking at 50 points at one stage. I think at the way the Boks dominance, that first 15 minutes the Boks were camping on that line. Did that open up, number one, the fact that they are maybe just having a bit of, not necessarily self-esteem issues, but did that knock the confidence, number one? And number two, did it show the rest of the world how to beat the All Blacks?
No, I think it's a bit of both. If the All Blacks were in a pool now like the Springboks, they would have been in big trouble. Now, having gone back-to-back losses, all of a sudden they now need to play a Scotland or Wales or whomever. We are in a pool where some of the games could go either way. I think this game would have probably determined the pool. Imagine the All Blacks now being in a pool with Scotland. They've just lost against France. They might just run the risk of being knocked out at pool stage against a Scottish side. They would have been in massive trouble. Confidence, this is a confident side. And you could see that they have a lack of confidence. And then also the cohort of players is probably the group of players that I've seen with defects as a group. I haven't seen weaknesses in the All Black side, as many weaknesses as I've seen in this side. You can target them up front. You can run at them at center. You don't know what you're getting at fullback. So there's very little consistency in the All Black side. But we have seen them bounce back before. And like I said, perhaps we will rule this comment come the final when they are there. And we as Springboks did not make it.
100%, guys. And again, like we said, we cannot but we cannot just take it for granted. We're gonna win the All Blacks. All Blacks gonna be out of the door. They've shown us many a time, and that echoes what Heinrich says. Rather New Zealand, the quarters, not the French. Ek het trust issues met hulle. Nee, 100%. Dis hoe ek voel. Could it be a bluff? Ek voel amper, daai jare wat ons so seer gekry het op 'n Loftus of in New Zealand, eers ons het pak gekry. So we don't want to take it for granted. They still the All Blacks after all, and I think their name, that kind of pride they have in their jersey, is enough, to get into the semis at least. I think. I don't think they're a team that's going to be.
You're talking about New Zealand?
New Zealand, yeah. The All Blacks, we can't let them. We can't just take them for granted that they are just gonna, even though they're going through a patch now, that they're just going to be ended up, falling away. That all after all, and we won't expect anything less than that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if you take France, especially if they're going, let's call it now, the easier route into the quarterfinals, the only thing that will stop France, in my opinion, reaching the final now is that one bad game that we know we will see from the French side. It's a guarantee.
Yeah.
We will see one poor game between now and the final. It is just a question of, will that poor game cost them the victory, or will they be able to squander through? There's going to be one poor performance. They won't disappoint. They won't disappoint us. Yeah. They will give us that one performance, but it's like,
yes.
And then if they get through, they will show us. Hopefully they. Blik wees toe nie vanaand dat Uruguay vir hulle pad gee nie. Ek doubt dit. But ek guarantee vir jou Frans gaan een window oplos waar 'n minder favorite span vir hulle dalk kan wegvat. Ek dink Namibia te kwai as ons kan.
Ja, ons kan gesê. Dat Rosenwolf se span. Ja, look, kyk,
Pemba sê Roosevelt sal ook die All Blacks pak. Gepraat van die All Blacks, Alberic, daar's 'n paar mense wat probeer het om hulle kinders te konwins om vir die All Blacks te support. En laasweek het ons gepraat van 'n seentjie wie se naam Kieran is, en sy ma het gesê hy is vernoem na die legendariese All Black kaptein Kieran Reid. En ons het 'n bietjie insig gekry oor hoe hulle probeer om vir hom te konwins om vir die All Blacks te ondersteun gegee die feit dat hy vernoem is na hierdie legendariese nommer 8 en Kieran het volstrek geweier. Kyk gerus hier na, hy sê nee wat, hy is 'n Springbok.
But we are All Blacks, Kieran. We're not Springboks. I was Springbok. Now we are All Black. Your name is Kieran. You are named after an ex-captain of the All Blacks. What are you? A Springbok.
Kyk hoe mooi lyk hy man, hy groen jersey man. Hy lyk te oulik en hy jersey pas hom net soos hy is man. Well done Kieran. Kieran, well done. Ons moet Kieran even op die show kom asseblief Brittany laat dit deurkom dat ons hom kan interview op die show want yes, hy is nou 'n bok deur en deur.
En hy seker een van die min in die huishouding wat gesmile het na die naweek, want mamma en pappa het al Vrydag begin huil toe hulle pak gekry het in die Franse en Kieran se Springbokke wat die skotte sommer afgeransel het, so hy weet van goeie keuses maak. Nee, kyk, dis wel lekker om as ons hierdie gesiggies op die sosiale media. Ek dink ons het baie vinnig uitgehard.
Yes.
Ons het lekker Superbru gespeel, ons moet inloer.
Yes, Superbru, let's do it.
Ons het 'n lekker gedigte pool, né? Lekker gedigte pool, manne wat hulle rugby ken. En ons het daar ingeloer en gaan sien, pragtig. Ashraf, wat sê Ashman, Ashraf Suleiman, top of the log.
Well done.
Hierdie week, hy het 'n geel keppie. Kom ons weet nie hoe lank hy daar bo gaan bly nie.
Wag op.
Ek blaas aan my sê nek. Yes.
Hoe het jy daar uitgekom? Ek bedoel jy nee, wag op. Guys, ons moet daai punte, want jy daai eerste game toe jy al klaar. Jy's al klaar uit al. Hoe jy daar uitgekom?
Nee, ek dink ek het groot gegaan die ure. Ek het gesê die ure gaan groot wen. En dan het ek ek het nogal imagine, ek het gedink die skotte gaan bietjie meer weerstand kry, maar ek het gesê die Springbokke met so 12 na 15 punte en hulle definitief toe met 15 punte gewen. En as ek afskrou, jy moet nog baie ver gaan om jou naam te gaan nog.
Nee, dan is so ver, dan is so ver.
Yes.
Was as ver, ja. Dis bitter ver. Nee, kyk, look. Okay, ek is Boffel, Skippy, Bobby.
Maar ek my Engelse app het ook nie gewerk. Kyk, waar is hy 21ste plek? Hy maak ook die bench net. Dan daar. Lyk die man daaronder. Kyk hier, Stevo en DI, hou te lippeltjie. Hulle moet hulle profile pictures sit dat ons kan sien
hoe hulle lyk asseblief
ja. Hulle staan aan die onderkant. Nou die All Blacks lê ook nou onder op hulle log, so ons gaan nie nou aanstoot hierdie maar met 3 punte na soveel games, weet ek nie wat hy gepiek het hier of hy miskien vergeet het om te speel. Ashraf, well done Assie. Ons het getry om vir Assie op die show te kry, maar hy het op die oomblik hy het nie ingeduil nie, maar definitief as hy volgende week weer daar bo lê, kan ons definitief 'n bietjie met Assie gesels. We just want to know what is his recipe for success. Winning points, goeie bonus points daar. At the end of the day, het Asri daar soos hy Ashraf Suleiman, hy het maar net 68 caps in 6 tournaments gespeel. So hy's nog jong tot die game, maar hy het gewys, hy is sommer 'n man om die rekenskap te hou en hy wil definitief die titel inpalm as die Superbru. Têkkel Talk se Superbru kampioen vir die Rugby World Cup. Well done Assie. En die van julle wat kan speel, moenie vergeet hier om julle piek in die volgende 5 minute in te kry. Daar is 'n wedstryd wat afskop binnekort. Daar is die Têkkel Talk se details en daar is natuurlik lekker pryse te wen aan die einde van die seisoen. En ja, Daniel Berg, soos die toernooi aangaan, wil ons natuurlik inpop by 'n paar mense vir al die eerste game. Gaan 'n groot game hier op 'n Saterdag, nooi daar vir ons. Ons kan die game daar by jou kom kyk. Ons bring natuurlik ons eie vleisie en energies bring ons self saam. Al wat jy moet doen is ons was mos nou al 'n paar keer genooi Piniel toe, miskien ons daar gaan inloer, maar ons wil 'n bietjie vlieg. So nooi vir ons sal alle onkoste dra om by jou uit te kom. Al wat jy moet doen is nooi vir ons, drop 'n inbox daar teckelchat@gmail.com en ons kom met die gees.
Yeah, we'd love to be there. We'd love to be there. And we're also gonna and just to add to that, we're gonna be doing a live preview just before that as well. and we'd like to interview as well. And let's carry wherever you guys are going to be. We'd like to experience that gees with you guys. So let us know. And then Heini, just looking to one event that's coming up on 7 October. It's Sustainable Golf Dag. En dis nou later in oor 'n maand se tyd of minder as 'n maand, ja. Minder as 'n maand. Om die draai. So al hy steinies as julle wil deurkom en lekker dag gaan afaan maak, asseblief is by die De Hoek Golfklub. Dis op 7 Oktober. So skryf in. Dit gaan regtig 'n awesome dag wees. Ons hoop om maar te wees. Ons gaan and as I heard, there's also one or two big names coming along as well that will be there. So it's going to be fantastic.
We'll please guys.
Yep.
En dan by Pakketberg.
Yep. We'll get and what we'll do is we'll also get one of the guys from the organizers, Richard them on the show, and we can chat to them about what's to expect over the next coming weeks. So guys, please give them a shout. You can either give Mr. Fredericks a call at 078-201-4813 or Moswan Moore at 081-047-9446. Cool. Awesome.
There we go.
It's gonna be fantastic. Looking ahead to the weekend. It's the big, not necessarily a big one, all respect to Romania, but a game we have to win nonetheless. Ons kan nie praat oor die All Blacks en vir Franse as ons nie die game wen nie. So this coming Sunday, 17 September at 3 o'clock at the Stade de Bordeaux. Het ek reg gesê? Bordeaux, sorry. Stade de Bordeaux. That's where it's going to be.
Yes, Stade de Bordeaux. But op Europa om die Frans naam uit te spreek. Maar ek dink gaan julle tip gee, dit kan groot nommers is die. Dink
jy so? Look, I mean, I don't think the guys are necessarily chasing big scores. I think because do you think points are going to make a difference with between the three teams?
No, I don't think in the pool. I think it's not going to go down to point difference. I think Scotland, they probably would have wanted to beat the Boks to have an outside chance. Then they would have had a proper chance. They really gave themselves a lot of work now. However, they can sneak through if they do beat Ireland. The Boks go on to beat Ireland. Scotland go through. But I don't think this pool will come down to point difference. But I think, ek wil ook nie te veel sê nie wat ek moet pick maak. But I think the Springboks to win with three figures or more. Romania, I think 9.
3 figures, soos 3 figures is 100.
Ek dink die Springbokke gaan 100 punte teen Roemenië opsit.
Okay, hy's 'n heavy bluff. Guys, don't listen to Heini. Please, hy heavy bluff. God, Fransman, doen of wys julle manne fan reviews of reaction op Têkkel. We want to. Please send us your box score try, Kane en Moody wat deurglip en julle celebrate asseblief. Stuur us julle videos. We'd love to see it. We'll show it in next week's episode. We'd love to see what you guys are doing, what you guys are up to. It's going to be, the gees is building as the World Cup is going, and we'd love to see that, guys.
Ja, dankie Garth. Ek dink stuur deur. Julle het die WhatsApp lyn, ons sal dit vir miskien die WhatsApp lyn weer op ons Facebook gooi. Julle het teckelchat@gmail.com. Laat hulle deurkom. Net so Kieran kan julle deel wees van die show. Ons wil nie hier sit en gesels met onsself nie. Daar is 0652188811. Gooi die WhatsApp of gooi net 'n e-mail. Ons is gereed om julle video's, foto's en dies meer te deel. En tot dan Elberik, dink ek gaan ons definitief hoop vir 'n uitnodiging om eers in te loer in die volgende week of 2. Al is dit dan nie sê Joburg toe nie 'n bietjie ver, maar kom ons is bereid om te
enige plek. Dit kan
enige plek.
Tilbag.
Ja, as jy vir ons Frankryk toe ek hoor daai ouens wat in Frankryk is, die media wat inskakel in Frankryk, daai gaan julle nou die koste moet dra. Ons sal kom, ons sal verlof kan reël by die werk, maar ons rand is swak, maar nooi ons julle ouens wat in moet. Ons sal verkieslik vir die finaal, maar ons sal die semifinaal of die kwart-eindstryd net so goed waardeer.
Anyway, as long as we are there. But guys, like Andy said, we'd love to join you guys and just experience it with you guys. That's what it's all about. Ons kan nie by sit op op 'n Sondagmiddag en alleen rugby kykie of op 'n Saterdagmiddag. Ek dink die Irish game is op 'n Saterdagmiddag. We'd love to join you guys. So let us know. It's going to be a very, very interesting World Cup by the look of things.
Donderdag aan rugby is op. Ek sien uit om 'n bietjie rugby te kyk. En Aberik, dankie vir jou om wat ingetune het. Ons dink altyd 'n uur is meer as genoeg en dan staan ons alweer op.
Ja,
kyk na 56 minutes amper tot die uur. Maar baie dankie vir julle wat ingeskakel het, vir al die comments, vir die van julle wat aanlyn was. Dit was weer lekker om met julle te gesels. En wie weet, miskien volgende week hierdie tyd praat ons oor 'n massive upset. Maar vir eers dink ek vir hierdie week favorites to win. And in a few weeks time we'll have a massive clash when the Springboks play against Ireland. Perhaps the pool defining moment for our beloved Springboks. Ja, Berik, altyd lekker om met jou te gesels en dankie dat jy tydens load shedding ook ingeskakel het. En dan praat ons volgende week of nee, ons praat Sondag miskien vir so 'n wyle. Maar tot dan dink ek is lekker om met julle te gesels en dankie dat julle ingeskakel het.
Net 'n laaste note, moenie hy nie se pieks luister asseblief, hy blaf. Lekker.
Tot volgende week. Lekker. Goed gaan.